right. Welcome to LA2M. Hi everybody, my name is Derek Irvine, CEO of Young's Digital Marketing. Welcome to LA2M. This is our monthly meeting of marketing education topics. We bring in brilliant speakers like this guy to my left, and you get some good Irish food, some good company. Thank you for those who came today, I really appreciate it. I'm just curious, is there anyone here for their first LA2M meeting? Any first timers? All right, great. How'd you guys hear about it?
A coworker, former coworker at ProQuest mentioned it, and she had come a couple months ago and thought it was really good.
That was great. All right, so you guys are from ProQuest?
I was at ProQuest.
You were at ProQuest, okay. What are you doing these days?
I'm helping a friend who just started a company, a group travel sales incentive program, and also looking for women.
Okay. Who else raised their hand over here? First timer. How'd you hear about LA2M?
That's right. 11:30, Wednesday, be there.
This guy next to you?
Yep.
All right, well, thank you. Have you been coming for a while?
I've come to a few of these.
Okay. Okay, great. So just so some of you newcomers know, at the end of the meeting, everyone gets a chance to introduce themselves, which is great. We do a couple minutes at the beginning to talk about LA2M, what we do. Then our speaker talks. And then at 12:45, we do introductions. So stick around, you get to introduce yourself, and if you're looking for a new opportunity or if you have something to tell the group, you can tell the group. LA2M, we've been doing this now, this is our 6th season, right Jim? Our 7th season. We've been doing this for 7 years. We were weekly for a long time, but that was slightly overwhelming, so now we're monthly. We are streamlining the process. I've been working with Ross Johnson, 3.7 Designs, my company. We've been redesigning the LA2M website, so that is coming. It'll be ready before the next meeting. We are also, we're getting some volunteers, so we have people checking in. We have volunteer sign-ups. So if anybody does want to be a volunteer, there will be slots available in a sign-up Genius where you can sign up, and that actually gets you in free to the event. So if you want to not pay the $5, come volunteer and help out. We'd love to have your help. You will have access to that sign-up from the website as well, and I did send an email about it. And we're also going to be switching to Eventbrite, so you'll be able to kind of pre-register, which I think is nice. So we're trying to make it more streamlined, so it's easier, less work, because it is a lot of work. This is a volunteer organization. We don't make any money on this. We put the money back into the group, and we try to do good things. So thanks for all who, also this is a 501c3 nonprofit, so that's how we do it, and we've been doing it for 7 years. And we also do it with the help of sponsors. I'm going to bring Jim Musial down. Jim is kind of the Vice President of LA2M, board member. Jim, you want to tell us a little bit about sponsors?
First of all, I thought I was getting paid.
Sorry. That's okay.
Hi everybody, I'm Jim Musial, as Derek said, and I volunteer my time here at LA2M too. It's a great organization. I've met a lot of wonderful people, a lot of good friends through LA2M, and a lot of business connections. So I highly encourage you guys to stay involved and invite your coworkers or former coworkers, or whichever it may be, but get them in here. This is a great opportunity to network. We always have time before and after to stick around and meet each other. So it's a great opportunity. But like Derek said, we exist because of our sponsors, and we're very fortunate. We have an annual sponsor, and that is Briarwood Mall. On the back table, there is some pamphlets about marketing opportunities at Briarwood Mall. If maybe you or your company would be interested in exploring that opportunity in retail, there's some packets back there, and the business card for Denise Murray, who's the Director of Marketing for the mall. It's a wonderful place. You guys, I'm sure, have all been to the mall. We're very fortunate that they're supporters of LA2M, and we appreciate their time. We also have monthly sponsors. Last month and this month, our sponsor is the Search
Marketing Workshop. No, we didn't. Those are misprints that I didn't realize until I handed out a bunch.
So the Search Marketing Workshop. They're on your table. They're on your chair. You want to say something real quick about it before you start your talk?
Yeah, I had my. I'll do it with that because otherwise I think it's going to create incredible feedback. Yeah. So this is our 5th year of doing the Search Marketing Workshop. We have a great keynote this year, and John Beebe, the Director of Digital Advertising and Analytics for General Motors, is responsible for hundreds of millions of dollars in spend in digital advertising. He's going to talk to us about big data, how they know who you are, how they target things at you, and privacy implications. I think it's going to be an incredible talk. Then we have tracks on integrated digital marketing, as well as some pure play strategies such as search and social media. We have speakers from University of McCann, iProspect, Team Detroit, as well as Blue Cross Blue Shield, and other industry partners. And so this is really designed to kind of get you up to where current practice is, give you, very good overview of what it is you can do, and give you lots of chance to ask questions. It's $35 with our early bird discount, so not too expensive. That gets you breakfast and lunch. And lunch is actually really good, as is breakfast. So it's almost like you're just paying for the meals and then getting all of this education in addition. So November 13th, early bird special ends October 31st. We've sold almost 2/3 of the tickets so far, and we've got a little bit over a month to go. So we're hoping for a sellout, and we encourage you to please sign up if you're interested.
But still my thunder, because I'm going to tell you the food is outstanding. It really is. The lunch is incredible. It's catered by Eastern Michigan, and they do a great job. It's a great workshop. I've been able to attend, I think, 3 of the 5 years.
Well, this is our 5th year, so if you're coming this year, then...
So I've been 3 of the last 4. I had to miss one because he always does it right at hunting season, which is a little rough, but I delay my trip sometimes just so I can come to the workshop. It's a great day, so I encourage you guys, and we would greatly appreciate your sponsorship here. We are looking for a sponsor for next month for LA2M, so if you or your company would be interested, please see me afterwards, and I'd love to talk to you about it and tell you what it all involves and what the benefits of it are. So thanks for being here today. I'm going to turn it back over to Derek. I'll be around afterwards if you'd like to talk. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim. One more thing before we get to our speaker. This is kind of a big weekend, Michigan State game. You guys fired up for that? I'm curious, are there any Michigan fans in the room? Any Michigan fans? All right. Any Spartan fans? Any Spartan fans? All right, good. Any predictions?
It'll be a good game.
Michigan? Yeah.
You should be very nervous.
Yeah, we should. Michigan State should be very nervous. I'm wearing my Spartan gear. I'm still confident Michigan State's going to win, but that's just me. Anyways, it'll be a fun game. Great reason to be a part of Ann Arbor. It's going to be a wonderful weekend. Just be aware of traffic around Saturday. Anywhere Saturday, be aware. All right, folks, so without further ado, today we have a special speaker. He's actually our sponsor. He's our speaker. He's Mr. Everything. But Bud Gibson started the search marketing program at Eastern Michigan University, and he also runs this amazing search marketing workshop. He's a big part of the Center for Digital Engagement that goes on at Eastern Michigan University. Basically, there's a lot of cool stuff going on at Eastern, which is just right down the road. Go check it out, go to the workshop. And today Bud is going to talk about measuring your success in digital, which is a really cool topic. So without further ado, let's give Bud Gibson a warm round of applause.
Well, thank you, Derek. It's always a pleasure to come speak here. I think this is the 3rd or 4th time I've spoken at LA2M. I like to do an interactive presentation. So I've got a few things to, I also talk very loud too, so I almost don't need the mic. But I've got a few things that I like to do. I like to be interactive, and so feel free to ask questions. We'll have a little bit of a warm-up here where I'll talk about some quote-unquote conceptual overview, and then we're going to dive right into a working example, and I'm going to ask you to give me your ideas for what it is we should do. And then I'll come back and I'll mention some tools that you can use once we've kind of gotten through that sort of thinking through what it is we'd like to measure, what it means to succeed for us in digital. Then I've got some tools that will help you actually do the measuring part. Okay, so from there, we'll go right on in. As Derek mentioned, I'm the director of the Center for Digital Engagement. We launched it in January We run a monthly speaker series in addition to our workshop, and we also have a summer clinic that we run working with local startups in the area. Happy to talk with you more about that if you'd like at the end of the talk. You can always just check out our website, which is up on the screen. Okay, so here's the challenge of understanding whether you're succeeding in digital. Okay, so we often think of, we think of digital often in terms of our own website or our own app, and is my website doing for me what I want it to? I often meet people who say, well, I'm going to get a new website, and that's really going to improve things for us. Okay, and I ask them, I say, how's your strategy working for you right now? Not so good, but we're going to get a new website, so it's not even worth thinking about what we've got already. We're going to get something new, and it's going to be great. Okay, or we're developing an app, which, by the way, a mobile app, to go on a mobile phone, which for most organizations I actually don't recommend because studies show that apps are, the apps that you use are typically communication apps. So things like Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, you name it. If you use it for communication, then you typically use it a fair amount. If it's just a brand app, hate to say it, doesn't get used that much. So they said they're going to get one of these new properties and it's going to make things better. Well, here's what you're actually dealing with in the digital ecosystem, and I think I've got this simplified. First off, as of 2008, Google indicated that they could have over 1 trillion web pages in their index. Okay? And that number has only grown. Okay? And it's grown because everybody got onto social media, and every time you publish a social media post, that's a new web page. So it's still continuing to grow by leaps and bounds. So even if you consider your website, you're out there in the great mass. How do people even find us? Okay? Well, there's typically a couple of ways. One of them is, and for the vast majority of companies, about 60 to 80% of your traffic is going to come from search engines. So people are going to type in a search term, and the search term might not be your URL, it might just be the name of your company, but they use the search engine to navigate the web. Okay? Alternatively, and this has really started to come on strong mostly with Facebook, is they may use a social media platform. So they may be reading along and see a sponsored post in Facebook. This is what's really caused Facebook advertising to take off, that then directs them to a web page. BuzzFeed gets over half of its traffic from Facebook. They're kind of an outlier in that regard, but nonetheless, you can start to see that social media, and it's not just Facebook, you can look at things like Pinterest, and perhaps soon Instagram. If you consider YouTube to be social media, then also YouTube is part of this social media traffic direction that comes on. So you've got that out there. You've got essentially mega sites that are directing people to your website. They're developing their impressions of what they're going to experience out on the mega site. Okay, they read your sponsored post at Facebook, they see your ad when they do a Google search, and that already starts to set their expectations. But there's even more to it than that. Okay, it may be that the internet service provider is shaping traffic and actually favoring one type of website over another. And so all of them have done this kind of program. For a while, Comcast disfavored Netflix, so if you had a Netflix subscription, you would find it stuttering constantly. And so that, again, controls traffic to your website, and therefore controls the success of your website. Finally, we get down to every kid and his sister now has their own specific device that they want you to interact with them on. Probably the best example of this is Amazon, which is effectively sells you little home terminals now for $50 with the new Amazon Fire $50 tablet, which goes directly back and forth to them. So this is yet another form of digital. and a sort of a form of lock-in. Android is actually, as it turns out, pretty similar. If you're on Android, you're going to default to using various Google Web Services, and so you're going to go right back into the Google mothership to get directed around. And if you use Apple, Apple is trying to play a middleman role where they have some Google, some Bing, some Facebook, so you've got all of this myriad of different players trying to control the user experience on digital, and then that also impacts your chances of success in digital because it shapes the expectations of people coming. So for instance, if Comcast they're not doing this in this area anymore, but if they're kind of throttling Netscape, then you're going to be Netflix, I need to say, sorry, I'm showing my age. Netflix, then you're less likely to want to go to the Netflix site. In fact, Comcast has opened up a competitor. So this is amazingly complex. And what I want to do to kind of get down to this is say, well, you need a simplification strategy. It's very easy when you start off and you think about everything that's going on. It's very easy to start running down rabbit holes, okay? And to start to say, well, should I be on this platform? Should I be on that platform? What about my website? Should I have an app? And the next thing you know, you're considering 25,000 different things and you're in paralysis, okay? So what I want to do is I want to start, that's the reason why I want to start off conceptually here. I want to give you a simplification strategy for thinking about, for any given platform that you're on, what it means to succeed on that platform and to tie it to your business goals. And if you can do that, then you can start to backfill in with the specifics of, I want to use this tool, maybe I want to be on this platform and not that platform, but you really need to kind of come back to the fundamentals of what it is you're trying to do in digital. And then what does it mean for you to succeed at doing that in digital? And then you kind of work your way back out to then being able to assess this myriad of possibilities with that key insight as to where it's going to lead you. Okay, so I came up with 4 steps. These are, I don't think they're unique to me. I basically summarized them over years of dealing with various service providers and teaching classes, and so if you recognize any of them, it's probably because I borrowed it from you. Okay. Now you have to decide what counts. Okay. What is it you're trying to do? Are you trying to generate leads? Are you trying to sell things, okay, in an e-commerce situation where people just come in, pop in their credit card, and then you ship them an item or they download it? Are you trying to get people to subscribe? Are you trying to get people to view more pages so that you can charge your advertisers more? Okay, so you have to figure out what it is that counts for you. And I think particularly in the case where you're not running a purely digital business, okay, so maybe you're doing a lead gen site because you provide professional services, then you need to really marry up those digital items, I mean the business items with your digital items. So you need to understand, you need to start to think, okay, when people fill out the lead gen form, that's a lead, at what rate do they convert? You need to start to think about how digital translates into real world. And that's for most businesses, and I suspect for most people who are going to attend a seminar like the one we're giving today, is they're really dealing with a digital gateway to what is effectively a traditional business delivered in person or a good that's shipped physically. Then you decide what counts, then you measure what counts. So if it's leads, you measure leads. Okay, if it's page views because you're trying to get your, which by the way I do not recommend this particular business model, it only works at extreme scale. But if you're trying to get advertisers to pay you more money, then you pay engagement with ads, which typically means new page loads. You have to understand your customer's journey on the way to buying your product. Is this something they can do on just an impulse, okay? Little impulse purchase? I would say that most App Store downloads are impulse purchases. You price it at 99 cents, people are willing to do it. You price it at 20 bucks and they hesitate a little bit because that starts to get to be a bit much for an impulse. Is it a consulting service? In which case they probably got to think about it a little bit and they're going to do some research on you. And then you optimize your customer's journey. So you know what counts to you. You've started to measure it, and I recommend really measuring a few things. You can get in sort of key performance indicator paralysis, okay, where you're looking at so many different key performance indicators that suddenly you're kind of like, well, this one went up, but this other one went down. What does that mean? And then suddenly you don't know what to do. So try and keep it down to typically 3 or 4 things that you think really matter and that you feel you can measure reliably. And then understand, when I talk about understanding your customer's journey, you want to optimize that. So you start to say, okay, these are the things that matter. This is how I'm going to measure them. How are we doing? Okay, so don't expect to be able to come up, that idea that you're going to be able to get the new website or the new app and that's going to fix everything. You should be thinking, well, I'm going to make a little bit of a change to the website here. Maybe I'm going to change my advertising strategy on Google. Maybe I'm going to do a different kind of sponsored post on Facebook. And so you're going to be making incremental little changes to try to improve your customer's journey, and then you're going to measure and see. So that's the theory section of today's talk, the concept. And so that we don't, it all sounds good, right? But let's kind of go down to an organization that is struggling with this today, okay? Now, this is an organization that we've been working with for years. I've used them as examples in other talks under the name of Slavery Footprint. This is Made in a Free World. They sort of rebranded. But this is actually a different kind of product area that they've decided to go into from what I've given at other talks. So don't think you know the answer, okay, when we go to the next slide. You don't, okay? It's going to surprise you. So it's Made in a Free World, and let's go look at their webpage. Okay, so this is their homepage. Actually, this is a landing page for an advertising campaign they have, which also happens to be their homepage. Now, my question to you is this. What is it that they want you to do? And let's take... oh wow, time is flying by. Let's take 3 minutes and talk amongst yourselves and come to a decision about what it is you think they want you to do. Okay, so let's start generating some ideas. Okay, so you have arrived at this website and you see it in front of you. What is it you think the organization wants you to do? Jim.
I think they want you to become part of a movement that's going to help you become free from whatever it is you do.
Okay, they want you to become part of a movement that's going to make you free from whatever it is you do. Just as an aside, I had a guy give me a career advice a few years ago when I was changing jobs, and he told me that I just needed to be free. So, just as an aside, that is not the purpose of this website, but the idea of trying to get you to be part of a movement is. Leslie?
So we thought that that they want us to learn, talk, share, and read more about their issue. I'm thinking it's probably human trafficking.
Yes, it is. And so I guess you could guess this from 24 million consumers, 21 companies, 4,037.
Because I work with.
right?
traffic event? Yes,
Yeah.
I knew it.
So become part of a movement, and then Leslie suggests that what they want you to do is read, learn, and share. Okay, so so you might think of those as steps on the way to becoming part of a movement, right? Is reading and kind of getting involved. And so we've got that become part of movement stream
You
going
don't
on.
understand the consumer's part though.
How so?
Consumers means you get something, what are they getting? Like what are,
Okay,
what
all
are they
right.
consuming?
So is that the end goal then, from a consumer
Well,
standpoint?
I'm just picking that up. I want to hear, what are other goals that people, I was summarizing. So what are other goals that people say? Yes, Charlie.
I think it might be to get the user to donate. And it might be cheating for us to see it. See in the top right corner, there's a small little donate button, but
That's never cheating, okay? If it's on the webpage, if it's on the webpage, you're supposed to notice it, presumably, okay? Okay, so now we've gotten, become part of a movement, and allied with that is learn more. Then we've got donate, okay? And typically, with donation, people will tend to donate. We've had this experience. They tend to donate if there's a disaster and you're going to donate to disaster relief. They know about it, they'll go do that. If you're going to try and get them to donate to your organization, that is actually typically a little bit more of a considered sell. Okay, they've got to decide whether putting money with you makes sense or not. Okay, so there's maybe still that learn aspect that Leslie was mentioning comes into play there. Okay, so we've gotten movement, learn, donate. Other options.
Sponsor, from a company perspective?
Sponsor, okay. Could you elaborate a little bit more on the sponsor?
Well, one of the three big points on the page is 24 million consumers, 21 companies.
Okay.
So are those 21 companies sponsoring the movement? And is that one of the end goals as well?
So getting a company involved. What is your name?
Jim.
Jim, okay. So Jim raises getting a company involved. Now, notice we have companies, they're right there in the middle. Jim noticed that. There's 21 of them. Then, lo and behold, okay, we got building a movement. That's right here. Lo and behold, right down here, we have something called a business solution. Okay? Then we've got this third thing over here called field projects. Okay? As it turns out, this is the thing that they were wanting to emphasize. They were trying to get people, so it's not entirely sponsorship, Jim, but they wanted to get people to purchase their business solution. So this organization actually started out, continues to be, in effect, a movement building organization. The problem with that is it doesn't pay the bills. Okay, they've got a little operation over in the San Francisco Bay Area, in Oakland actually, and they produce content all the time, and so they're thinking, well, how do we make this sustainable? Okay, they've gotten a lot of groundswell, getting in the press, getting people flowing to their site, but how do they both affect change? Okay, just making people aware doesn't mean change is going to happen. And then how do they sustain their business model? So what they'd actually like to do is get people to buy into their business solution. So if you scroll down and you click on business solution, so this is basically what fits on a front page here. And if you try, and it's about $10,000 a year to do this business solution. So if you have 21 companies doing the business solution, that's $210,000 in revenue that you can perceive to keep the lights on in your nonprofit. Okay. So if you click that, you come down to this page. We're building a free world, okay? Now, suddenly, if you read this, every supply chain is at risk of slavery and child labor, okay? So we all know from these little exposés about cell phone suppliers that maybe the working conditions in Foxconn are not what you would hope for, and other assembly operations in the Far East, and so And so they're kind of raising our awareness of that again. Companies are actually judged on this, and so they're making public moves to attempt to demonstrate that they're not involved with these bad practices. So they built a software. If you're a small company, they built a software that will help you figure out whether you're engaging in these practices and how you might improve. Okay, so it's a service that companies would actually be interested in because they don't want to kind of get caught up in one of these nets. And let's assume that they probably want to do the right thing too. Okay, there's a dual motivation there. Now, the software has this great name of FRDM, which I guess is meant to signify freedom. I just realized that now. I always sort of thought FRDM, I mean, what a name for a software product, but I guess it stands for freedom. Now, you can either register and go right into the website, or you can request a demo. So if we think about this process, you're going to spend $10,000 a year. $10,000 a year for an enterprise level software is really not too bad. Okay, it may seem like a lot, if you're sitting in a room and you have a small business, but if you're a large corporation, that kind of subscription is about $1,000 a month, and if you're an operation of any size, it can start to make sense for you. Okay, but to make that decision, you're not just going to take out the credit card and charge it for 10 grand for a year's worth of subscription. You're going to want to see, well, what does this do? Can this really work for me? It's a considered purchase. So as we go down here, on the first page, the question would be, do people click on business solutions? Now that seems to be kind of a heavy lift if you look at this page. Business solutions is, there's a business up there, and then there's a business solutions down here. So if you've come to this page, getting you to business solutions, seems like maybe the success rate is not going to be high there. But this would actually be the thing that you would want to measure. Do people actually come to this page and then click through? Assuming the click-through rate from this page is pretty low, first thing you would think about as you were trying to optimize the customer's journey is, okay, if we're bringing people who are specifically looking for business solutions to this page, then we need to make this a lot more prominent and need to start the story to get them engaged. And then we've got this page, and this one's a lot simpler. And one of the clear options as you're developing somebody into a customer is to give them the demo. Okay? It's a considered purchase. It's a lead gen site, so requesting a demo is what you want to do. This would be what you would measure on this page. Now notice, each page, I'm thinking about a process, I'm thinking about what gets people to the next stage of the process, and then I'm measuring one thing to know if I succeed. Okay? I'm looking at one thing to kind of know if this is working or not, I don't have 10 things, I have one thing. Okay, one thing is probably a little too few things. You might measure how long did they spend on the page, and if you have additional links for additional information, do they click on those additional links to learn more? Because requesting a demo is actually a bit of a commitment. Okay, they're going to give you your email address, they're going to give you their email address, you're then going to start to harass them to get them to actually do the demo. You won't think of this harassment, but the person on the other end of the line might not be such a fan. So you're going to contact them, and so they've actually committed to interacting with you. So that's a big commitment. So if you have additional links, which actually would be a recommendation for this page, so people can continue to learn more. If you have additional links so that people can continue to kind of lurk and figure out if they want to do it in a research sort of way, you could measure whether people were clicking on those. Okay? So, but notice I didn't add it out to 10 things. I said, okay, let's think about something that helps those people along on their process. Okay. Now, if you go down further, then you start to see actually some data about, some information about how this works. You've got a little screenshot over here of what the software product looks like. You see an endorsement from Intel, which, you know, sort of sounds credible. Intel, big company, has a global supply chain. If they're using this software, that's a sign that maybe it works, okay? They kind of explain the process to you. So you start to see how it can all work. So this is before requesting a demo, and I actually had to scroll down to get to this. You can start to get more information. Okay, so maybe having a more explicit link to this so that people who are trying to figure out how this works, as I was mentioning earlier, that would be something you want to see, it would be something you want to measure, you want to see how far people make it through this process. So if your process is a multi-step learning process where you need to understand different steps that you go through, you want to see if people actually complete the little sequence that you've set up for them to learn about it. Those people who complete are your higher level prospects. They're the ones who are really engaged. And then there will be people who maybe only make it halfway through, and those are people who you might want to reach out and attempt to re-engage in some way. Via remarketing to them on the Google Ad Network or something like that. Okay? So I want to talk about tools that can help as we close up here. So I've talked about a process where you bring people to your website or your app. Then they have an experience on your website or your app. And that experience either translates into a business success for you or it doesn't. And you can measure in that website or app experience, you can measure whether people are taking the intermediate steps that you know they would have to take to purchase your product. We've looked at a high involvement product, but my experience in venues like LA2M and other places where I talk, most people are selling a professional service or some other high involvement product. And so, you know, having this kind of example is helpful. So the first thing you want to think about is teeing up the kind of person that your target customer, okay? And you have two ways. You have a number of ways you can do that, but for simplification's sake, I'm going to say that there's, you can look at paid advertising. Google AdWords, people often think of it as paying for people to come to your website, but it's also an incredible research tool. Okay, so to use AdWords, you figure out what it is that people are searching on that relates to your product. You then give them ads that entice them to click through and come to your web page where it doesn't. So you've actually got there, you're conducting market research. What are the search terms? What are the ads that work for getting people to come to our website? Or potentially come inside of our app, because Google will actually now deep link into apps. Okay. You have Facebook Ads Manager. So we're running Facebook ads right now for the Search Marketing Workshop, and I've targeted it at people who are in the Southeast Michigan area and have an interest in social media or digital marketing or search marketing or mobile apps. So you can start to define your audience and then based on interest areas. And Facebook gives it to you one way, something that people express by the things they like on their Facebook page, and Google gives it to you in another, which is search terms that they type in. Okay, so that's kind of the first thing you measure. Am I attracting the kind of my target customer? People who I think would be my good target customer. You can also do this in an email-driven way, and I think email is actually one of your most effective digital media for acquiring customers. It typically works best in an opt-in environment, not where you've purchased the list, but where people have said, hey, I want you to email me. These are people who are halfway to being your customer already. That's why email works so well, is because if you're managing your email list correctly, then you've got people who want to hear from you, more likely to do something with you. Okay, and you have MailChimp and Constant Contact. Then you can start to think, well, I don't really want to pay for paid advertising. I want to kind of see how people just use the search engine organically when things are not paid. Good tool there is Moz. They provide an indication of whether it's showing up in search engine results and then how you're ranking against competitor websites. I would say that you typically, though, even if you're going to try and go the not paid advertising route, that you want to do a little bit of paid because it's such a great tool for testing out ideas. You can get quick feedback with a fairly low budget. Okay, so paid can either be the majority of your traffic or it can just be a small segment where you're testing out appeals given different things that people search for. Then you have all-in-one solutions. So if we look at the example I just gave of Made in a Free World, you could think, oh my gosh, well I'm going to be redesigning all of these landing pages and thinking about the funnel process that people go through on their way to becoming my customer, and designing all of those web pages can be kind of hard, and keeping track of what's going on. Well, for this type of lead gen operation, HubSpot is actually a great tool, okay? And it will facilitate that design process as you go through and keeping track of what it is you're switching around. We have Marketo, which is more email targeted, but with a similar idea. And then there's Shopify for e-commerce, okay, helping you set up your e-commerce sites and tracking. Okay, so that's it for tools. Happy to talk about tools in the discussion as we go along, but I didn't mean for this to be a here's the tools that can solve all your problems type of thing. These things change all the time, okay? 3 years ago, I really wouldn't have been talking to you seriously about Facebook Ads Manager, but they've come on really strong in the world of targeted display advertising and native advertising. Their ads are effectively posts within your Facebook stream. And so if you get caught up in tools, then 6 months from now, you're going to have to completely relearn things. Okay. So, connecting with us. Well, I talked about the Search Marketing Workshop. We have these flyers out there. If you use the code EARLY, that gets you the whole event for $35. If you tarry after October 31st, I'm hoping we won't have any tickets left, but that's when our early bird special ends and suddenly you got to pay $45. And we always have people who show up at the door, though we don't encourage that, and we let them in for full price too. And then after the Search Marketing Workshop, we're coming back to our breakfast series, which is going to be Friday, December 11th. Breakfast series starts, talk starts at 8:30. The Search Marketing Workshop starts early. The talk actually starts at 8. We have pre-registration at 7:30 or check in at 7:30. You can always email me and keep up with what's going on our website at centerfordigitalengagement.org. So,
Does anybody have a question? We do have time for maybe one, maybe two questions. Raise your hand, I'll bring the mic to you. And I got a question for Bud, something that sparked your...
So, Bud, can you talk a little bit about all this digital and the way it evolves? How does that play into traditional marketing? And is there an easy kind of maybe a little talk that you can give on for those in the group who are still doing some traditional advertising and marketing as well?
Well, I think, as it turns out, that they integrate in together very well, and I'll give a couple of examples. So, in traditional marketing, a lot of what you're doing is you're pushing out your brand, you're pushing out product names, and how people go to find those things is they search. So the first thing to think about is if I'm running a branded campaign around a product or my company name, then I actually want to advertise in digital, on search, around that product name or company name. Then the reason that you would advertise is that you can direct people to these specific pages that you choose, particularly as you're altering them to improve the customer experience. So method one is take the messages that you're pushing out through maybe through print, maybe through billboards, maybe through radio, maybe through TV, and build search campaigns around those. Okay, those will tend to be lower cost for you, also because you're highly relevant for those topics. And when people are looking for specific products or names, they're less likely to respond to kind of a bait and switch from one of your competitors. They're looking for you when they do that, and they want to get to the official website. So that will actually be lower cost for you than some other kinds of advertising you could do. If you think about social, then I think the thing to think about is, so how we use social is we realize that there's a certain kind of people who might be more relevant to our message, and we use it as a sort of an awareness advertising. Conversions directly off of social are not that great, but kind of keeping yourself top of mind so that when you come out and touch them in other ways, maybe you see them at an event, or they hear about you from somebody else, they're already primed to go for you. So we use social really as sort of an awareness kind of advertising, and we do it almost like you would do a traditional ad campaign where you have a brand you're promoting, maybe an event or a product you're promoting, and then we expect that to prime people for if they decide they want to do that sort of thing. So that's how I would tie it in. They tend to start, they're meshing together quite a bit.
All right, folks, let's give Bud Gibson a big round of applause. Thank you, Bud. All right, so it's time to do introductions now. So tell us who you are, what you do, and if you want to tell us what team you're for, Michigan or Michigan State, and then pass the mic to your neighbor. I also ask that you do stand up when you do this so we can see you. We'll start up front with Trevor.
Hello, my name is Charlie Leestra. I actually am the newest digital marketing manager at Nginx. And I worked for Michigan State football when I went to Michigan State and I worked for the football department, so I'm actually, hello.
Hi, my name is Courtney, and I'm the graphic designer at Nginx Digital Marketing in Oakwood. Hi, my name is Brianna Weiss, and I'm marketing coordinator at Nginx, and I'm neutral for my own safety.
Hi, I work with Shop Window and we help local businesses with automated marketing.
I'm George Marisol, the Managing Director of Brainstream Creative. I provide full-service video production and help you get it into your marketing automated platforms like Marketo, HubSpot, Google Analytics, those sorts of things. But you need a search team because I'm not a search guy.
Hey, I'm Brittany. I run Just Curious Co. based out of Ipsy. It's a design and illustration studio. I work with a lot of local companies to help do their voice and do their branding.
Hi, my name is David Coleman. I work for Brand New. We help brands and retailers manage their online pricing.
My name is Ross White, and I'm currently looking for a career in marketing. Just trying to see what's out there, what types of jobs.
Hi, I'm Joyce Williams. I'm the Public Affairs Manager at Huron Valley Ambulance, your nonprofit, nationally accredited community service.
Hi, I'm Mark with CPS Companies, and we service some install business phone systems and sales. Over.
Hi, I'm Kathy Wilder. I'm a retired development officer from the University of Michigan, and I'm learning as much as I can about social media and marketing.
Hi everybody, I'm Jim Uziel. I work with a company called Mobile Comply. We do certification and credentialing for connected vehicles. So if you are in or know somebody that's in the auto world or engineering world that want to be involved with autonomous vehicles, I'd love to talk to you about it. Thank you. One other reminder, on your table are these little cards. If you've enjoyed today's presentation and want to remember to come, take one of these, put them up on your desk, share it with a coworker so that you remember to come next month as well. Thanks.
Hi everybody, I'm Stacy from Dollarville, your local digital print shop. And you need all of that, and you need me, because print goes with all of that, so don't forget that. I wear lots of hats, and my hat that's coming up is WXW. It's a women's group, women business group, and next week we have a huge conference, the annual forum. So go to WXW.org and look that up. It's a great day to be out with a whole bunch of fabulous women learning tons of business, social media, personal building, all of that. Thanks.
Name's Jeff Velas. I'm a vice president with EDS. We just recently opened up our 7th satellite office here in the Ann Arbor area, covering what I call the I-94 corridor for what we also call the little big guys. Not a small and medium business, somebody a little bit larger than that, but not large corporations. Although if somebody wants us to do General Motors work, we'd be happy to do so. Go blue.
I forgot that, go blue.
Hi, my name is Linda Baker and I work for a nonprofit called JBS. The mission of our nonprofit is to help people who are looking for work find employment. We have an upcoming seminar, it's actually 2 weeks from today. It's going to be taught by a recruiter who's going to teach you, as a job seeker, the secrets to finding a job using social media and also just what you need to do in today's workforce. So if you know somebody looking for a job, I have a flyer, I'm more than happy, it's no charge to attend. All we want to do is help people get to work. I'll do with you. And go green for this particular game, and go blue otherwise.
Hi, I'm Dolores Brower, and I'm marketing director for a local law firm. It's a labor and employment law firm here in Ann Arbor called NAC Law. And I'm going to stay neutral too, especially since I'm from Ohio, maybe.
Hi, my name is Boris Snyder. I'm president of Special Development. We supply and manufacture electronic test equipment for automotive electronics, for testing, for durability, reliability, and standards, etc. And our customers are all the auto suppliers and the Tier 1 and Tier 2.
Hi, I'm Miriam Snyder, the next supporter of Spec Development, my husband's company. I'm a retired principal, so my love is education, and I'm in the process of starting an international women's club in Ann Arbor.
Hi, I'm Ross Johnson with 3.7 Designs. People come to us when their website isn't engaging with their audience, it doesn't represent their brand properly, or it's not driving their business forward. I'm also speaking next month, I think. Is that right? Yep. So if you want to learn a little bit about how to get more out of your website, make sure to come back.
I'm Max Sauber. I teach marketing at Gibson University. My area is integrated marketing communication. This is a master's degree program free online. We're starting in 2006. And we have national recognition with Direct Marketing Association. And we have won top award every year for graduate students since 2008. Either gold, silver, or bronze. Last year, this is a competition with real world client. Last year was DirecTV. This year is Facebook. And we won gold and bronze last year. So I encourage you, if you're looking for real hands-on and quick, relatively quick, because it's online, and degree program, looking to our program. Thank you.
And Matt is also a colleague in the Center for Digital Engagement on the steering committee, so very happy to have Matt here today.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leslie McGraw with Let's Go Social Media Marketing and Training, and I help small businesses and artists and entrepreneurs and just community people learn social media and do small group training. And I've helped kids age 12 on, and my oldest client has been 89. So, but today I will ask, next week on Thursday, October 22nd, is Slam, one of the teams I work with. They have a storytelling competition. It's actually a business storytelling competition. And last year, you know, you got flowers and chocolates. This year, Andy's up a little bit. It's $10,000 for the winner of the slam. So, let's see.
Hi, Jim Evans, and as mentioned earlier, I was at ProQuest until 2 weeks ago. I spent almost 2.5 years there as head of field marketing for North America, which was events, marketing operations. But most of my experiences in the automotive space, I spent almost 10 years at OnStar, back in the early days of OnStar, and worked at Owens Corning as well too. So besides helping a friend who started a group travel sales incentive program here in the short term, I'm also very excited. For the first time in my career, I'm spending some time figuring out what I really want to do when I grow up.
You took my line, Jim.
My name's Sue Booth. I'm half of an acrobatic team that does stand-up paddleboard acro yoga. And I am here searching for information on how to get the word out there so that my partner and I can live happily ever after in the tropics in the winter of Michigan.
That's what I want to be when I grow up. That sounds good. I'm Adam Sterling. I'm with Henry Ford Village Senior Living, and I'm the business and marketing director there.
I'm Roger Rayle. I'm a venture catalyst. I help with a lot of video on different networking groups. I started Ann Arbor Video Interest Group 2 3/4 years ago, and our October meeting is tonight at Carlisle's, a2vig.org if you're interested. Also, after you're done with search marketing workshop on Friday the 13th,
Yes.
Is Ignite Ann Arbor number 10. Ignite is like a mini TED Talk. It's 20 slides automatically advancing every 15 seconds. So it's exactly a 5-minute talk. And we have 16 of them, and it's going to be very, very enlightening. Also, a week from, it's next Tuesday, I guess it is, it'd be A2 New Tech, which is, if you're involved in any of the startup community like I am, we have 4 or 5 young companies come in and talk what they're about for 5 minutes and get hammered by the 125 people in the audience for other 5 minutes. So a lot going on in this town. And go blue, since between my wife and kids and I, we have 7 degrees from Michigan. So otherwise, we root for Michigan State, but not today. Not this one.
Hi, I'm Carter Shoreline from Print Studios, and I'm a commercial editorial and portrait photographer, which covers almost every aspect of photography, some videography, now drone pilot. I guess I have been for the last year. Managed to do a little damage to one of them, but I shoot anything from a piece of jewelry up to an 18-wheel truck, portraits, business and personal use, such as a law firm represented here. Hopefully my clients here. I'm known for shooting running and golf, I guess, pretty well. And a lot of these meetings, I guess, TEDx I was at, I'll be at the search marketing workshop. But if you're a runner, you've probably seen me. I probably look something like this. And if you're running the Free Press Marathon, I'll be over on the Windsor side. People coming off the bridge and going into the tunnel. Pro golf tournament, you've probably seen me. I do a lot of people asking if I can sneak them inside the room, so I can't do that. And that's it.
Thanks, Carter. And again, Derek Marabon. I run a company called Ingenix Digital Marketing, and I was pleased to see Bud talking about HubSpot because we are a HubSpot Gold partner, and we do a lot of lead generation for businesses. Some of our team up here. But yeah, great talk, Bud. Good, usable tips. I hope you guys take that to hand. Let's give Bud Gibson one last round of applause. Really great talk. Next month, we have an exciting speaker, which he announced himself, Ross Johnson, is going to be speaking of 3.7 Designs, talking about 6 principles of design, and he's really great web design, so come next month. We will send you an email. We're going to try and send emails a little more frequently. We'll try and get those out weekly, which is more benefit to our sponsor. If you do want to sponsor, speak to Jim Musial. It's only $100, I think, for the month, or we'll work it out. But sponsor us, we'd love that, and come on back next month. And until then, help others, go make some money in the process, and have fun, and go green. See you later. Thanks.
Yeah.